Hey everybody, and welcome back to Cityscape Brewing. I'm Dennis, and today we're brewing up another great summer lager, a crisp, clean Pilsner. A German Pilsner to be specific, not to be confused with the Czech Pilsner, which is a sister beer made in the Czech Republic. We're going to do an entire grained glass brew day, including tasting this thing at the end, so stay tuned to see how it turned out. We'll go through the entire recipe first, right after you guys hit that like and subscribe button, grab yourself a beer, and we're going to get after it. Also, if you want to get my videos early and get some member perks like brew day sheets and exclusive recipes, go ahead and hit that join button below. It helps the channel out a lot, and you'll get those member perks and be super awesome. So let's talk about a German Pilsner. This beer was first brewed in 1870-ish, and it is a lighter style, lighter colored beer, much like this Mexican lager that I have right here, which has some medium to high bitterness, but still crisp and clean and light and refreshing with a dry aftertaste, which makes it an awesome beer for the summertime. In Germany, some call it a Pils, kind of out of respect so it doesn't get confused with the sister beer, the Czech Pilsner, which is actually brewed in Pilsen in the Czech Republic. This, however, is a slightly different beer, and it can sometimes vary in bitterness as you go from north to south in Germany. And that has to do with the amount of sulfate that's usually found in their water. But let's dive into the recipe. For this one, of course, we're going to be using Pilsner malt, right? And so it is almost all Pilsner malt. I'm adding 9 pounds specifically for this 5.5 gallon batch, and we're going to be adding just a half a pound of Carapils at the end that will help it with some head retention and give it a little bit slightly maltier flavor. So that's a super light grain bill because it's going to be light colored and crisp. It's supposed to be brilliant, if not very, very clear on purpose. For the mash in this one, it's actually pretty easy, especially for those who are new at all grain brewing. We really don't have to add very much for salt additions depending on where you live. For my case, I'm not really adding any salts. I'm adding just some ascorbic acid to help with oxidation and help preserve the beer longer, which I always do for lighter beers. And then I'm adding some lactic acid to help drop that pH down. But since we're not adding some salts, it really doesn't adjust the water pH that much, so we need to do that with lactic acid beforehand. So I'll add about 6 milliliters or so to help keep that beer dry, but also more importantly to get that pH in the range of about 5.2 to 5.3 for our mash. Then we're going to do a 60-minute mash, but we're going to be looking at a mash temperature of about 148 degrees. You can even bump it down to slightly less than that. So if I don't hit that mark today, I'm actually going to be okay with 146 or 147. This should be a drier beer on purpose. And so 148 should hit that mark, but if you're a point low, don't worry about it. I wouldn't go any higher for this style beer. You really want to unlock those beta amylase enzymes, and that's going to help the yeast eventually eat those sugars and make this a drier beer. That's where you get that crispness and some of that bitterness flavor from the mash temperature. Then we'll do our normal recirculation process, Whirlfloc process. We're going to get to a full boil of about 7.2 gallons and then start our hop additions. For hops, we're going to be using 3 Sazerac hops, but Saz usually isn't one of those hops. So we're going to be using Perle hops to bitter. We're going to be adding 1/2 ounce of that right at the boil for 60 minutes. We're going to be adding 2 ounces, one of Hallertau Hittelfruh and the other of Tettnager at the end of our boil at about 10 minutes left. Following the boil, we're going to cool down as normal, and we're going to be using German yeast that is Saflager 3470. This is a great all-around yeast for lagers. I've used this even in a cold IPA, which isn't even a lager. You use lager yeast, but actually brew it at ale temperatures. So this yeast is a beast. Afterwards, we're going to need to raise that beer temperature up for a diacetyl rest, which is going to help remove some of that butterscotch or butter popcorn flavor in the beer. And then following fermentation, you need to lager this for 4 to 6 weeks in order to help round off those flavors and really hit its stride. You might actually find that you enjoy the flavor the longer you go with this beer. And so when it gets into 2 to 3 months, this beer might actually hit its stride. I would not rush this whatsoever, but you can drink it as early as about 3 weeks or so, but I would let that condition, and generally that does get better as it hits closer to that 6-week period. For this one, I'm also going to be saving the yeast because I'm going to be doing a Vienna lager following that. I'm going to be using the same yeast. So I'm going to be taking that Trub from the bottom of this one, and I'm going to be saving it. And I'll explain exactly how to do that in a different video that I'll put in the video description below. And then we're going to be back to taste this thing and see how it turned out. Did we hit our marks? Well, let's find out. All right, and after 6 weeks, today is the day. We're going to go ahead and pour a glass and see how it turned out. I give you the German Pilsner. This thing turned out spectacular. It is a brilliantly clear and crisp and very great looking beer. It holds the head retention, as you can tell on the top of the glass, perfectly, and you could read a book through this. It's so crystal clear. But like all beer, the best part is giving her a taste. Cheers. Wow, that's a solid Pilsner. Crushable, clean, it's got that dry finish, just the right amount of hop flavor that you want in a Pilsner, still very light and crushable. This is a beer that you'll be drinking all summer long. Definitely well worth the wait for this one. I don't think that I would change a single thing when it comes to this beer recipe. I think this one is probably as good of a German lager as it gets. I'm definitely going to be saving a few of these for some competitions I'll enter, because this thing is brilliantly clear and it is delicious as all get out. Like I said, it's going to be hard to sit and just have one of these. This is one that you're going to come after again and again. So you might as well brew up a second one because you're going to want another keg after this one empties. Plus, this is a light, crisp, clean beer that others might expect that it may not be real hoppy fans for, like IPAs or pale ales. This one is a staple beer that your family and friends are going to love to have when you have it on tap. As always, leave any questions or comments in the video description below. I'll have the entire recipe there as well. If you have any questions, definitely let me know. Also, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to become a channel member and get those member perks and be awesome, go ahead and click that join button as well. Happy brewing and cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. You're awesome. You want to be even more awesome? Hit that join button and become a member. You'll get exclusive members-only recipes and other perks like Brew Day sheets, and watch my videos early as they drop before anyone else. So hit that join button below, become a member, and be awesome.